Joining us to learn about our planning efforts to improve emergency response for our fire district, specifically constructing a new central location fire station. I'm Pam Lindstead, currently serving as Vice President of the Board of Directors for the Albion-Little River Fire Protection District. For the past 15 years, the board and the department have been working to construct a new fire station. A significant step forward was made in 2018 when 1.8 acres was purchased on the land that's behind the Albion Grocery, where Station 810 currently exists. We took time at each of our meetings to recognize our volunteers. They are critical to our program and could not be here without them. So think of them as you're listening to this presentation and thank them for their efforts. The building committee was formed over 18 months ago to develop plans for a new station. Lee Welty, Michael Reese as chief, Diana Wiedemann as the architect, and myself currently comprise the building committee. In this presentation, we discuss why we need a new station, the design proposed, and how we plan to finance it. Our chief will start off, Michael Reese, who's been serving our community for nearly 12 years, the last 3 serving as our fire chief. He'll speak to emergency response within the district.
I thought it was interesting how different. Hi, I'm Michael Reese, Fire Chief for Albion-Little River Fire Protection District. I'm going to start with a little snapshot of what the fire department does. The Albion-Little River Fire Protection District mission is to provide personnel and resources necessary for protection of life and property in the Albion and Little River communities against threats from structural and wildland fires, medical emergencies, hazardous materials releases, and disasters, natural or man-made. We do this with 100% volunteer firefighters and board members, with the exception of myself and our part-time administrative assistant. In 2021, we ran 269 calls, the majority of them being medical calls, with our more resource-intensive being fires and traffic collisions. We currently have 25 firefighters on our roster, and we train weekly with an annual average of 150 to 250 plus hours. Along with that, our volunteers maintain EMT certifications, CPR, hazmat, and various fire certifications. These numbers don't really represent the true amount of commitment involved for the volunteers. Every call or training requires restocking, maintenance, and decontamination of equipment and personnel. It also requires the ability to be available. Calls come in at all hours of the day and night. We are currently responding out of 5 stations located throughout the district to maintain coverage within 5 miles of the majority of our residents. This station here is Station 810, located behind the Albion grocery store. It houses 1 rescue truck, the only bathroom in the fire district, a small district office, and a small kitchen. This station here is Station 815, 4 miles up Navarro Ridge Road. It houses 1 Type 3 engine. Here we have Station 813, located on Middle Ridge Road. It also houses a one Type 3 engine. This station here is Station 811, located on Albion Ridge Road, just past D Road. It houses one of our first out engines and a water tender. This station is a dry station, meaning there's no plumbing inside the station. We do maintain a water source for firefighting at this station, but there is no plumbing in the station. This station down here is Station 812, located at in Little River at the airport, and it houses a Type 1 engine, 1 water tender, and 1 rescue, along with our reserve Type 1 engine. So in the past few years, we've began accumulating new fire apparatus, and to accommodate the size of this modern fire apparatus, we needed to add an addition to this building, or add this building, as these engines do not fit in our current buildings. None of our buildings currently meet the required health and safety codes, and along with other OSHA, NFPA, or Office of the State Fire Marshal standards. Out of all of our stations, we do not have the ability to decontaminate equipment or personnel. All of our stations have gravel driveways. There's no hard surface for us to work on to clean hoses or engines. Recall. Also, our current station situation lacks a central location for fire personnel to train and to gather. These are pictures, these are photos of us at our monthly operations meeting where we hold a potluck. And as you can see, we have to pull the apparatus out of station 810 so that we can set up tables to accommodate the crowd. We also are lacking a centrally located administrative office with the ability to interface with the community. A new central station for the future will provide us with an anchor for the community, a central location to coordinate our emergency responses, and a facility that will support fire safety requirements for washing and decontaminating equipment and personnel. It'll give us a place for fire personnel to train and gather, and also for the community. Our administrative offices will be centrally located and easy to access by the public. Central Station will also help improve our homeowners insurance ratings. Through a central coordinated emergency response, we'll be able to respond faster, and we'll have a higher ability to provide the required water flows, along with giving us an opportunities for fire prevention and education within our central location, along with increased water storage, and looking to the future, the possibility of 24/7 staffing. Past few years, the volunteer model has become more and more unsustainable. This is happening for a number of reasons: changing population, rising cost of living, firefighters working out of district, higher performance standards for volunteers, increased call volume. And since 2004, our call volume has increased 300%. In other words, we're running more calls with less volunteers available. In the future, I see us moving towards a model of 24/7 staffing, with either volunteers being compensated for their shifts or having some sort of full paid staff. As we need to build a central station that can accommodate for this future.
Michael, now we're going to move into the design plans. Diana Wiedemann is an architect who has resided in Albion for almost 50 years, and during that time has consistently been involved in coastal planning and development issues. She's currently serving our community as the 5th district planner, and most importantly, for this project, she's developed the preliminary plans.
Hi, I'm very glad to be able to present the design that we've been working together, the building committee and also some of the board members of the fire department. And the zoning of the site, the site we're working on is the existing station 810 located behind the Albion grocery store and adjacent to the post office and the hardware store, known as kind of our downtown Albion area. And the size of the property is 1.8 acres. It is a zoning of rural village with a highly scenic designation. And with that, we have to present a set of preliminary plans to the building department for a coastal development permit. And that coastal development permit is a standard permit. As you can see in this slide that's on the screen, the Albion grocery store is in front, and the apparatus bay with the solar panels is behind, and then the administration building is right next to it. We are designing these buildings to be separate so we can phase the project. And that way we would be able to start with the apparatus bay and get the site work done, and then move on to the administration building. All right, so this slide represents the proposed site plan of the new fire station and admin building. And the issue, what I talked about before, was the congestion in front of the Albion grocery, which is here, and the post office and hardware store here. And this is where most of the local people come and do their everyday business of mailing and grocery shopping. This is area, this where I'm pointing, is called West Street. It's owned by the county. All of this is owned by the county. And the loading trucks now park right here and unload. Now, our property, it became clear we needed to avoid this heavily congested area. And we came up with a one-way circulation where we ended up making a new entry, ingress from Albion River Road, South Road here. And it enters into the new parking area and the new apparatus bay. And our apparatus bay, which houses our fire vehicles, has a drive-through design. So the trucks can come in, park, and be ready to go out. And when they go out, we have created a one-way vehicle lane that then comes back down to Albion Ridge Road here. Therefore, this will allow for a quick response and keep our fire personnel and fire vehicles out of the congested area when we're trying to respond. So the development with this one-way circulation pattern, it allows for a couple things. It allows us to have more parking in this area. The pavement is the light gray area that you see here. And the firefighters, it was very clear that they needed more surface to train on and clean their equipment. And we provided that in this. And the office of the administration building is accessible right from this area here. From West Street, you can park anywhere along here, and there's extra parking in our lot. And you can walk to the office and then walk into, which is the all-purpose room and other parts of the facility. So it interfaces well with the community. That was the main other request by both the community members and the fire personnel. The other part about the site is that we're able to create a lot of, we have room for more water storage, and that's important, and we're going to, for a lot of reasons obviously, but we can try to maintain larger storage tanks on this property. I'm going to go to the next slide, which talks about the actual building footprint. This slide shows the floor plan of the proposed apparatus bay with the 4 engines, and it offers a decon room for firefighters to come and clean and take a shower, and lots of new storage for equipment. And it'll be state-of-the-art as far as state regulated air quality and ventilation systems, which is really important to protect our firefighters. And then it's, as I said, it's a separate building from the administration building. And the administration building has the offices and the counter that the community can go in and get information, find out what's going on, interface well with the fire department, and it has double doors that get into the hall that goes into the multi-purpose room, which acts as a training facility for the fire department and also for the community to do fundraisers. And we create new ADA bathrooms here. We have 2 ADA bathrooms with storage. And then it moves into a dining room and a kitchen for the many uses that are required, not only for the fire workers, but when we throw fundraisers and community events. The upstairs, we have an upstairs for more offices because the goal is to try to maybe even, we have to house our fire chief and the administrative assistant, and also that we may have another personnel or another agency that may work out of that office. The other part of the upstairs is a large training and workout area, and if we need to house a sleeping quarters in the future, we have this space to do so. I'm going to move to the next slide. These are the elevations, and as you can see, this is the apparatus bay and the office, and they're separated. And you can see the double doors for the drive-through. When we're talking about the cladding, the exterior materials being used, we're looking at a standing seam roof that we may work out catch basins for storage water from, and then we're also looking at a either a stone veneer or a chip face block walls that are at the lower end, and then possible stucco to be fire retardant. On this slide here, on this area here, we're going to have solar panels, and those solar panels will bring in the state-of-the-art heat pump systems that will allow this building to try to be as energy efficient as it can be, not only for the firefighters, but also in case of disasters or needs by the community when power outages happen. And in this side, it shows the north side of the building, apparatus bay, with the decon room here and the stepped building so that we can have storage and doors and area for also training. This is also a drive around area where firefighters can go, and when they're parked in various areas on the site, they would drive around this side of the building and head out to Albion Ridge Road. This is the north side of the administration building with the upstairs of the training room and a mechanical and storage room here. Next slide. And this is the last slide for my presentation, and the size of the building for the apparatus bay is 4,700 square feet approximately, and 5,600 square feet for the administration building. And what we're looking at right here is the, let me see if I can grab this right here, is this is the multi-purpose room, these are the offices here, and this is the apparatus bay on what would be the south face here. And that will conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Hi, this is Pam Lindstedt again to speak to our financing efforts. Every avenue will be explored to meet our financial needs and to sustain and improve our emergency response capabilities. We've reached out to other Northern California departments who have built fire stations in the past 5 years to explore costs and how their project was funded. The one closest and most recent is in Willits, and it's the Little Lake Fire Protection District that was constructed in 2021. They retain bond counsel to assist with evaluating, assessing, and executing funding options, which is something that we are considering. Funding options, as you can see, include public offering, which is a bond, private placement, which are loans, and government, which are also loans. In addition, we'll be looking at a capital fundraising campaign as well as grant funding. Any or all of these will be utilized to meet our financing needs. As Diana mentioned, we have planned 2 phases of construction, with the apparatus bay being first and the administration building being second, so that if we don't have sufficient funding for the entire project, we can do it in 2 phases. The next thing we'll be doing is submitting the coastal development permit, which will take anywhere between 12 to 18 months for approval. After 8 months, we anticipate knowing whether our preliminary drawings will be approved or not, and we can develop working drawings, which will then give us our finance cost estimate, and we can start working on financing. Then we will develop a contract and put the project out to bid. In the development of the contract, we have to include prevailing wages, as this is a public project, and for those of you who aren't aware, prevailing wages are about twice the cost of what it costs if you were to develop a residential structure. The construction is anticipated to begin in spring of 2025. That concludes our presentation. You'll be hearing about this as it moves forward, and certainly we'll be starting our fundraising campaign and talking more about that in the near future. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to working with you in the future.